In the aftermath of an attack by Venin, dark magic wielders, on the military outpost of Athabine during the end-of-year war games held at Basgiath War College, Violet recovers from her injuries in Aretia, a town in the Kingdom of Navarre's Tyrandor province. Over the past 3 days, her world has been upended. Xaden Ryalson, the third year she has fallen in love with, is part of a secret rebellion thought to have ended years ago. Some of Violet's fellow students who survived Athabine with her are also part of the rebellion. Violet's brother Brennan, who she thought died fighting the rebels 6 years ago, is alive and the rebellion's leader. And the Venin from her father's folk tales, wielders of dark magic who draw power directly from the earth and ride Wyvern which they create and control, are real and intent on killing everyone on the continent. Navarre's leadership has carefully hidden all of this and erased it from history to protect the citizens within the kingdom's magic wards, which keep the Venin out. Brennan and Xaden prefer to keep Violet in the dark about the details of the rebellion until she can properly use her magic to create a mental shield and block out her former friend, Dane Atos, who can read memories. Violet distances herself from Xaden until he agrees to be fully honest with her. Andarna, one of Violet's 2 bonded dragons, is taken to the Vale for the Dreamless Sleep, a critical process during which young dragons develop into adults, while Violet, Xaden, and their peers are sent back to Basgiath for graduation. Colonel Atos, who sent them to die after Dane stole Violet's memories, threatens the lives of their families and friends if they tell anyone about the Venin. Dane unsuccessfully attempts to reconcile with Violet, oblivious to what really happened in Athabine and unaware of the depth of his betrayal. Xaden graduates from Basgiath and is sent to Samara, a border outpost. He and Violet are given leave on alternate weekends to visit one another so that his dragon, Scale, and Violet's dragon, Tern, can satisfy their mating bond. As her second year at Basgiath War College begins, Violet is excluded from working with the rebels to smuggle alloy daggers from Basgiath's forges to the griffin flyers of Poromiel, the nation that lies undefended outside the wards protecting Navarre from Venin. Major Burton Varish replaces Colonel Atos as vice-commandant of Basgiath and targets Violet, punishing her whenever Andarna fails to show up for flight manoeuvres. On conscription day, Violet's old friend, Prince Cam, crosses the parapet and joins Violet's squad under the pseudonym Arik Greycastle. As the year gets underway, Athabine survivors begin dying one by one at the hands of Colonel Atos' assassins. Unable to lie to her friends, Violet distances herself to protect them and instead enlists her scribe friend Xenia to aid in her research into the first 6 who raised the wards. Violet keeps this secret from Xaden, who still refuses to share information with her. For the second-year Rider Survival Course, RSC, Violet and her friends must complete joint land navigation exercises alongside a team of infantry, scribes, and healers. They fail. A signet-blocking elixir cuts the riders off from their dragon bonds and signet powers. Violet becomes increasingly angry in class when Venin attacks are hidden by their battle-brief professor. Xaden discovers Violet has been researching the wards, and they fight over the one-sided trust he expects from her. It becomes more difficult to keep the truth from her sister Mira and her best friend Rhiannon as time goes on. Violet decides to tell Rhiannon about Dane's signet and the fact that her fellow Athabine survivors are being killed off for something they witnessed. Arik reveals to Violet that he knows the truth about the Venin, and unlike his father, King Tori, he wants to do whatever he can to fight them. Eventually, Violet and her friends are seized for another RSC challenge, interrogation. Varish uses the opportunity to pry information from Violet, even attempting to use Dane's signet, but his efforts are unsuccessful. Jack Barlow, whom Violet believes she killed with her lightning power the previous year, has secretly been healed and returns to class. Violet hears that Xaden has been badly injured in a griffin attack on Samara and deserts her post to visit him. She finds him completely healed at Samara, and he extends more trust to her by bringing her with him to deliver smuggled daggers to Griffon flyers, one of whom is Catriona Cat Cordella, an ex-girlfriend of Xaden's. Xaden gifts Violet an alloy dagger to protect herself against Venin. When it returns to campus, Varish arrives to check her person before she can stash it elsewhere. Rhiannon teleports the dagger to her room with her signet power, which forces Violet to reveal everything to Rhiannon and her other friends, Sawyer and Rydok. The group devises a plan to break into the sub-level vault of the archives and steal the journals of the first 6. They locate 2 journals belonging to the first 6, Warwick's and Lyra's. While Xaden leaves Basgiath with Warwick's journal, Nolon, the healer, catches Violet with Lyra's and turns her into Varish, who tortures her for days. Only the visions Violet has of her dead friend, Liam Mary, get her through the ordeal without breaking. Dane is brought in to read her memories, and Violet shows him everything, prompting him to kill Varish and help her escape just as Xaden arrives to save her. Together they reveal the truth to all of the students at Basgiath and allow any cadets who wish to desert to return with them to Eretia. Violet and Xaden bring over 200 riders and dragons to Eretia, where Andarna wakes from the dreamless sleep. Mira soon arrives in Eretia with many more riders after their mother, General Sorrengail, tells everyone the truth and gives them the choice of whether to desert or stay. An assembly member named Felix teaches Violet to control her lightning, which has become uncontrollable and dangerous. Violet translates the warding ritual in Warwick's journal, but her first attempt to raise Eretia's wards fails. Against Xaden's wishes, she leaves for Cordin with Mira and Brennan to convince Viscount Tecarus, a potential ally to the rebels, to give them the luminary to power Eretia's forges and make alloy daggers. Xaden is already there when they arrive, and Violet discovers Kat is Tecarus's niece and Xaden's former betrothed. Violet wields her lightning to kill a Venin in exchange for the luminary from Tecarus, who also requires that they take 100 Griffin flyers with them to Eretia for training. For several weeks, riders and flyers undergo challenges to build teamwork and trust. They are also taught to weave Tirish runes, which can place magic for specific uses into objects to be activated later. During an exercise where teams of flyers and riders compete to locate runes hidden along the Esben Mountains, Violet's group is attacked by Varish's dragon, Solus. One rider is killed in the attack, but Andarna kills Solus to protect the rest. Kat and Violet eventually put their differences aside and engage in a tenuous alliance. Violet continues to retranslate Warwick's journal, this time enlisting Dane's help. Dane corrects the errors in Violet's earlier translations, and she discovers a new way to raise the wards using dragonfire from all 6 dragon dens. Violet prevents a Wyvern attack by successfully enacting Eretia's wards, but they prove faulty. Violet discovers Xaden has a secret second signet, which allows him to read people's intentions before they act. Violet and the Assembly are summoned to meet with General Melgren and General Lilith Sorrengail, Violet's mother. Melgren, who can see future outcomes, foresees Venin overtaking Navarre's Samara Outpost and asks Eretia for aid, which is denied by Brennan. General Sorrengail is shocked that Brennan is alive and hands over Lyra's journal, believing Violet will translate it and discover the proper way to activate the wards. Xaden and Violet begin to mend their relationship after agreeing to be more truthful with one another. Xenia begins translating Lyra's journal. Violet realizes that the Venin gathering outside Samara are a distraction and that someone inside Basgiath intends to take down the wards. Violet and her supporters fly to defend Basgiath against the advice of Eretia's assembly. By the time they arrive, Jack Barlow, who reveals himself as a Venin, has already destroyed the wardstone, bringing down the wards. With nearly all its forces pulled to Samara, General Sorrengail works alongside Basgiath's present leadership to devise a battle plan against the approaching Wyvern hordes. Violet's squad is tasked with guarding the area surrounding the wardstone while Brennan attempts to mend it with his signet power. When the battle begins, Violet wields her lightning to protect her squad. Sawyer loses a leg to a wyvern bite. While delivering him to the healers on ground level, Violet is attacked by several Venin, but saved by Andarna, who breathes fire for the first time. Xenia finds Violet to deliver the newest translation of Lyra's journal, which records 7 dragon dens needed for the ward ritual. Violet realizes Andarna, with her oddly coloured scales that allow her to camouflage so well, is from the 7th den. As Violet gathers the 7 dragons needed for the ritual and begins imbuing the newly mended wardstone with power, Xaden continues to fight on the battlefield, where he confronts the Venin sage who has been stalking his dreams. To kill the sage and save Violet's life, Xaden channels power from the earth and turns Venin. Violet realizes that the wardstone will require all her power to work, which will kill her, but General Sorrengail sacrifices her life instead. The dragons activate the wardstone with their fire, which causes the Venin to flee after the Wyvern drop dead. After the battle, Violet finds Xaden and discovers he has turned Venin. Violet saved the continent, but at the cost of everything. Her mother gave her life, and the man she loves, Xaden, turned Venin to protect her. The battle may be over, but the war is just beginning.